Hello friends and enemies, welcome to, or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with a little fun video for you today. So this is me admitting a fault of myself. I will sometimes get physical arcs. I don't get them often, is part of the problem. So I'm bad about reading them and I forget I have them because I'm such a digital reader that I just will forget. But I have 10 physical arcs I have not touched yet. And some of them have come out. So I do need to read them. And I thought, why don't we try a chapter and read the 10 physical arcs I have? I think it'll be 9 technically because one of them is a sequel. But I do keep arcs that I like, and if I don't like it, it will go to the little free library around me. Or I give it away to my members. Like, I tend to offload things I don't like. So let's go through the ones I have. One is downstairs and I'm not going to go get it, but first up we have Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. This was the re-release from Bloom Books for this one. It's a college romance. She likes her brother's best friend and she confesses, I believe, and he breaks her heart a little bit in it, and then she meets another guy. But then we end up in like a love triangle situation. This is supposed to be messy. I'm very intrigued about it and very curious. Then I have Bespelled by Laura Thalassis. This is book 2. Book 1 was Bewitched. And I really want to read this. I've been wanting to read this. I literally keep forgetting it already came out. It's a fall book to me because like it's witchy. So that's part of why my brain forgot. But this follows Celine Bowers, who is a witch and is the reincarnated mate of a guy that was like buried. And she accidentally awakens him and he's like basically following her around. These are like the definition of a popcorn read for me. They really deliver on just bonkers. And the ending of the first book was really intriguing. So I do definitely want to pick this up. I need to read the first chapter to see if I need to revisit book 1, but I think I can go in just with this book. Next we have another witchy read that I, again, forgot I got an arc of. I do have a finished copy of this one as well, so I'd like to know if I like it. I think I will. This is Hot Hex Boyfriend by Carly Bloom. This cover is so fun. There's like a little frog with like a heart on his tongue. I love it. This came out early in September. This is a girl who's always believed she's a witch, but supposedly the family has no magic. Well, lo and behold, they do have magic, and this neighbor guy has been kind of watching her to make sure she doesn't get into trouble, and she does indeed get into some magical trouble. This sounds really fun. I'm already sold just because there's a black cat on the cover, to be honest, and a cauldron. And I do trust Forever when it comes to these titles, so I think I will enjoy it. We'll see. He's going to teach her how to control her magic. Then we have a romantasy, and that is Sophie Jordan's A Fire in the Sky. I do have an audio of this from Libro as well. This came out in September as well, towards the middle of the month, I believe. But this has like a bit of a love triangle to my understanding. Shay did recently read this and enjoyed it. It's also not that big for a romantasy, which I like. Okay, that's cute. There's like a girl running on the corner and dragons. That's so cool. Anyways, there's, let me see if I can get it on camera. Anyways, there's a little animation in the corner and I love it. I love Sophie Jordan's historical, so I was already interested in this. This involves a marriage to save the realm situation. Magic is believed to be dead, but it's not, and she maybe has magical abilities. That sounds like a good time to me. The other September release, which is the one sitting downstairs, is Pucking Sweet by Emily Rath. I know everyone right now is like, what do you mean you haven't read it? Possibly by the time you've watched this, I have read it. This did just come out, but here's the deal. I haven't read it yet because I'm kind of saving it for myself for a little treat right now just because of everything going on. So because of that, it's sitting there. And I have read the first chapter, but I'm going to reread it because I read the first chapter just like on a whim when I first got the arc. But I do have this, which is the third book in the Emily Rath Jacksonville Rays. This is MMF. This follows Poppy, Novi, and oh my god, why did my brain forget his name? Who's the other guy? Oh, and Morrow, Colton. So yeah, it follows Poppy, Novi, and Morrow. I'm very ready for this book, and I've kind of, like another hockey book, have been sitting on it for the right moment for myself mentally when I knew I would need it, and that moment is arriving, literally. So that'll be one we try. The next one we have is Deja Brew. This comes out October 1st, so it will already be out by the time this video goes up. I am really intrigued by this. She keeps reliving the same month over and over, and she's a witch, she's a magician, and she is a former celebrity chef, and her cooking abilities are like on the fritz and things are happening. This follows a trilogy. In the first book, they all make wishes, and the way that these all things have come true are very interesting, but I'm very, very, very excited for Deja Brew. I've loved every single book in this series, so I know I'm gonna love that. Next is another one that I have a physical of and an audio of, and that is The Nightmare Before Kissmas. This comes out in early October. I do not have the release date on here. This is pitched as Red, White, and Royal Blue meets The Nightmare Before Christmas. And it's supposed to be a quirky rom-com about the golden-hearted Prince of Christmas and the off-limits Prince of Halloween in a fake competition between two holiday princes over a marriage of convenience that nobody wants. And I don't know how to tell y'all, but this cover and everything about it is just very me and feels very me. Though I am not a Nightmare Before Christmas, like, girly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I'm not like a... But this just feels like something I would love. Then we have Double Apex by Josie Juniper. This is an F1 romance, and I'm very, very excited about it. I cannot wait to read it. This follows a girl who works in, like, the math stuff with F1, which I think is really fascinating, and a driver hero. So, of course, they're not supposed to be together because they're on the team. Also, you know, workplace. But I think this is going to be really interesting. I've been enjoying the F1 books I've read so far this year. And I feel like I'm just going to have a blast when I do read it. And then last but not least, this is a duology. One is for sale in October. And the sequel comes out in January. I have both. I got both of these at Steamy Lit. And obviously, we're going to start by reading book 1 to see what we think of it. But this is a considered The Serpent and Wings of Night meets Shadow and Bone, a dark romantic fantasy, loosely inspired by Greek myths and a darkly seductive star-crossed romance. Where's the plot? So this follows Estrella, a prisoner of her own mind, and she must escape this tyrannical king who holds her captive. Her memories are clouded. The quest leads her to Libertatum, and a succession of trials in which 5 human lands compete for safety from the vampires seeking blood, claiming souls, and savaging after dark. She wins, but it won't keep her safe. She's made a dark bargain with Night, the deadly vampire who stalks her dreams and haunts her waking hours. Promises to keep her safe, but she cannot trust him. I'm very intrigued by this. I'm hoping this is, like, fantastic and I love it. Because obviously I have... Ow. I just hit myself in the face. I have both books, so fingers crossed. I got this with purchase. Anyways, those are all the physical arcs I have. We're going to read a chapter of each, and I will timestamp each one down below, and we'll talk about them as we get through them. All right.
Change is constant, learning to flow. All the unknown, lemons thrown. May look different from what you've dreamed.
So I just finished the first chapter. It's only like 9 pages. 8 pages? 7 pages? 7 pages. So it's a quick read. I am liking this. I do think it would be a good October read, so I'm going to put it back to maybe read or listen to this month. But I'm kind of intrigued. It opens with all of them on a car ride to the beach house that, like, their family bought ages ago and has split between all 5 of the kids now that they're, like, all 18. So they're going to have, like, one last summer at the beach house. I'm assuming heartbreak to come in the next few chapters, and then when she goes off to college, she meets the guy, this Noah that's on the back. I'm really curious to see how the heartbreak part plays out in this and what the tragedy is. So yeah, I definitely think I will read this sooner than later. It's staying for now. If I read it and don't love it, this will get given away or offloaded to someone at some point. But yeah, I thought, honestly, pretty good. I have read other Megan Brandy's. I read her Boys of Brashaw High. I think I finished that series. I might need to read the spinoff. I haven't read the last 2 in Brashaw High or Brashaw High, whatever it's called. So definitely curious to read more of this. So that's a win. Our first book was a win. I'll take it. I just read the first chapter of A Nightmare Before Kissmas, and I really enjoyed it. So this follows the Prince of Christmas, who apparently can't stop messing up. He accidentally on purpose, gifted an entire small country a ton of their Christmas wishes and flooded their economy. He was trying to do a good deed. Anyways, he also just broke up with his girlfriend at her birthday party, or her sister's birthday party. It's a long first chapter, I will tell you that. I was nearly 50 minutes. But I left it very intrigued, and I definitely can see myself reading this book either by the time it comes out or just after. Like, I'm going to finish it soon. But I'm intrigued narration-wise. I will say I think the audio narration on this is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And I'm really intrigued because I do believe we've met the Prince of Halloween already. And I'm curious to see how that plays out when they are reunited here soon. Also, we had some top-tier friend banter, which I'm always a big fan of. So yeah, I'm left very intrigued and very excited to give more of it a try. So I listened to the prologue and chapter 1 of The Stars Are Dying, and it's fine. I'm not sold on it. I definitely will continue it at some point. I'm not in the mood for it right this minute. It definitely feels very fantasy heavy. Our plot hasn't really picked up or been pointed out in any capacity in this yet. Obviously, it's also a 17.5-hour or 18-hour audiobook. How long is it? It's long. So I haven't you know what I mean? I don't feel like I've gotten enough info. So it's one where I definitely will try some more chapters up here sooner than later. But right now I'm indifferent on. I don't dislike the writing style. It does. I will say this. I do feel like it reads a little YA. I don't think it's YA though. I do think it's an adult title. She was on the roof where she wasn't supposed to be at the end of chapter 1 and met with someone. So yeah, I'm intrigued, not intrigued enough to say I'm for sure continuing this right this minute.
Colors and contrast making it art. What if happy can be built?
Okay, so chapter 1 is 15 pages in Deja Brew. And I gotta say, I'm already very intrigued by this, which I knew I would be. I love the setup here. So Serena, it was a celebrity chef, but gave up her career to take care of her grandma while she was dying. And is getting ready to leave again, but can't. She's also a kitchen witch. And this is Gus Dearworth, who is a magician. So she's a witch, he's a magician. And she has the worst October ever. We chronicle how bad this October is in this book, in the first chapter. And it's bad. But she makes a tea, and she drinks that tea, and it may be called wish-granting tea, basically. And some smoke arises. It's right before midnight strikes on, the last day of October. So we are entering our Groundhog Day situation, and I'm very intrigued. She had a really cute interaction with Gus right before getting home and making this tea. So yeah, this is, up. We'll talk when I'm done, what I'm gonna priority read next, but I'm already very intrigued by the setup, which I knew I would be. I've been very excited for this final book in this little trilogy for a while, and I'm just still pumped.
Turning into all that's good. Lucky I learned what lemons can.
I just finished 2 more arcs, chapter 1s. Double Apex. I need this. If it was not Love in the Night, I would be reading it immediately, but I'm filming this during Love in the Night. This will be in the next weekly vlog after Love in the Night. There is no world I'm not reading this ASAP. We have a really headstrong heroine. We make fun of the fact that our hero is 6'2" and an F1 driver, because it is very tall to be driving F1 cars. But also, he is Romanian, and she keeps calling him F1's Dracula, and that is freaking hilarious to me. And he has pet names for her, and she doesn't like it and keeps telling him to stop, but of course he doesn't listen, and she calls him Legs. I'm already loving it. She's also kind of a nepo baby in F1, but she did do the work. So I'm really curious to see this play out. And I just read chapter 1 of A Fire in the Sky. This opens with a big setup already. You can kind of see the love triangle that's about to happen. You also learn about this Princess Tamsin, who's basically the child that gets beat in place of the other sisters and is going to be married off to this beast of a man to appease him because he goes and fights for her dad. This is a good intro. That was a good first chapter. I'm very intrigued and excited to continue this. This is definitely going on my romantasy TBR for the week. I'm probably going to make a spinner wheel with all the romantasies I want to read, and then every week for the weekly vlog, when I have a regular one, we'll spin a wheel and pick a book. So I only have 2 left, which is Hot Hex Boyfriend and Bespelled. So I'm going to read those here this evening, and I will come back and check in with you, and we'll see what I'll be prioritizing and what I'm possibly just not going to read at all. So yeah, we'll see. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so I've finished the last 2 books I needed to read for this. That is Bespelled and Hot Hex Boyfriend. we'll get Bespelled out of the way really quick. I will be reading this very soon. I was thrilled because we get a little recap in the beginning of book 1, and I was like, what if I forgot everything? Like, that was one of my biggest concerns with this one, right? But she writes a note to herself, which I did not count for chapter 1, of everything that has happened and what is going on and why she keeps losing her memory. It's literally called a brief recap of things I must not forget in the off chance that asshole Manon screws with my memory again. So very cute, very fun. Was thrilled for it because, again, I was like, I remember how it ended, but do I fully remember? I don't know. So I read through chapter 1, which is 12 pages, literally, that's it. I continue to enjoy this. I would call this series, like, you know, if you're not new to my channel, you know, when I read some of those mafia books or some of the other books that are just kind of, they're normal but a little bonkers, that's what this is. It is a pretty normal witchy read, but also like a little spin of bonkers in there, and I do love a bonkers book, we know this. I'm really excited to finish this duology. I'm pretty sure it's a duology. Excited to finish this, and it's definitely going to be a fall read. I know it came out in May, but like, this is a fall read. This is not a like summer read to me. Even the cover screams fall to me. So yeah, I enjoyed this first chapter back. I'm curious. We are already like hitting the ground running, which is good for a sequel. Like, I don't need a lot of build up. I need that tiny recap and then hit the ground running. So very excited to continue. Then I read the first chapter of Hot Hex Boyfriend, and the premise of this is her family is, they're convinced they're witches, but their powers, so Delia Merriweather believed with all her heart that she was a witch because all Merriweather women are witches. There's this one problem, they had no magic, so as an adult she no longer believes magic exists. However, she accidentally breaks a hex. So in chapter 1 we meet her. She is hanging with her grandma, who they compare to Medusa, which I thought was really funny because it was like steam billowed around the room as she gazed in a giant pot of boiling water which fogged the thickest lenses of her glasses and made a massive halo of silver curls coil and bounce like a nest of snakes. Pint-sized legally blind Medusa is what she calls her grandma, which is so funny. Anyways, she asks her what soup she's making. It's not a soup. She says it's a spell and a potion. And then they go to the fall festival and return to basically find a note that says with the blue moon, the blue witch's powers will rise. It has like all these things. Very cute. I possibly will pick this up this weekend during Love in the Night, but if I don't, I will be reading this very soon as well. I really liked it. I really liked the writing style. I get so nervous. I discussed this before. I get really nervous about witch books because I love them, but I also am often disappointed by them. So yeah, that is 7 arcs that I have physically read the first chapter of, which feels good. And you know, I feel like this was kind of a fun way to see what I want to prioritize, which I can tell you right now. That is upside down. A Fire in the Sky is going into my romantasy spinner wheel. I imagine it'll come up soon. I don't have a ton of books in there, but there's enough for a spinner wheel. Double Apex is going to be read next week / like the week you're watching this probably. I'm really excited for it. I really enjoyed it. Hot Hex Boyfriend and Deja Brew. Hot Hex Boyfriend and Deja Brew are on my October list to get to. So I'll probably read one this week and one the week after, give or take. We've got 2-3 weeks left in October. I'm not sure. So these are definitely like high on the list because I'm very excited for them. And then I definitely see myself reading Nightmare Before Kissmas this month or early November. I feel like it's one of those books that I could read kind of whenever. Our main character, it seems so far to be very focused on our Prince of Christmas. So we'll get to it sooner than later. And I do have an audiobook of it, so getting to it sooner than later is going to be very easy. Then in the 2, I will not be prioritizing quickly because 1, I'm just not in a I'm reading contemporary romances. By no means am I saying that. I don't know if I'm in the mood for them, but first we have The Stars Are Dying. I have this on my romantasy spinner wheel. When it comes up, we will read it. I'm not in too big a rush because I would like book 2 to be out because if I do like it, I want to be able to jump into book 2 pretty quickly. I'm hoping I get an audio arc of that as well. And then we have Say You Swear by Meg and Brandy. I do want to read this, but something about this to me is like a spring read. I don't know. I feel like that's contemporary romance time in my brain right now. So, and my brain's kind of doing the like mood ready thing. Again, I know that like goes against this one, but also there's still like, is Formula 1 done? Is it on break yet? Either way, we've had some Formula 1 recently-ish. So that's where we're at. I'm happy with the 7 volumes I read. It feels good to know that, one, I've done a good job mostly getting physical arcs of books I think I'm going to enjoy. So like that feels really good. 2, it felt really good to know that I have these on my TBR. I have a couple of these as finished editions, so when I read the arc, I will offload the, I'll probably offload the arcs to some people. But yeah, like, okay, not mad about it, especially because they're already out. Like, I'm not mad about how this turned out. I'm actually really happy. I was really nervous, honestly, that I was going to leave this, like, not liking anything, and we really only had 2 that I was like, I don't know that I want to read these right now. The rest of them I walked away from, like, I wouldn't be mad about reading any of them in the next week or 2, so that feels like a win. Let me know in the comments anything you've tried a chapter of recently, or if you ever do these challenges on your own, or if any of these arcs sounded particularly entertaining to you. If you don't want to do that, you could also let me know if you have like a try chapter you want to see me do. So I've done a KU one now, I've done an ARC one. We could do some others. I definitely could put together some themes, or if you have theme ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments. And besides that, if you want to leave me a coffee cup emoji for Deja Brew, or tea emoji of your choice down below, you can do that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I read these and talked about them with you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back in just a few days in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away.